Make your way down to your mat in a side lying position for our side lying series with our fitball. You want to line your back up with the back edge of your mat, and your feet are going to be slightly in front of you to start. So you have a couple options for your upper body. You can stay propped up on your forearm. This is your challenge option. If you want a little more support, you can always come down onto your arm this way. So I'm going to stay up on my forearm to challenge myself a little more. Let's come into external rotation with both legs. And then we're going to take the fit ball and reach it up towards the ceiling. So let's do kind of a test drive before we start here. We're going to take the top leg, point the toe, and reach it up as high as you can without sinking into the waist. So staying lifted through the waist, and find your top range. Now we're going to touch the fit ball to the foot, and this is going to be kind of where we start. So on your next inhale, we're going to flex the foot, bring it down. And on your exhale, you're going to try to reach and touch that fit ball. Now, if you can touch it, you're going to pull the fit ball back about 1/2 inch to challenge your range of motion even more. We'll inhale to lower, and exhale, point and lift, finding that new end range. Good. And flex on the way down, and point to lift. That's 3. As you're doing this, you're pressing your bottom leg actively down into the mat to create stability and support through that bottom hip. And if you're up on your forearm like I am, you're pushing the floor away with that forearm so you stay lifted, almost as if another fit ball was underneath your armpit and you're trying to lift off of it. All right, this is our last one here. Ooh, we're gonna take the ball in front of you. Take your leg just to hip height. Make sure, again, the hips are square, and we're gonna do our kicks forward and back. So with a flexed foot, let's reach and aim for that ball for 2 counts. 1, 2, point the toe, reach it back. As you're flexing and pointing forward and back, you're trying to keep your hips, your shoulders, and your ribs stacked. So we're just moving that top leg and nothing else. Kick, kick, and reach. Let's inhale forward. Exhale, reach. Let's go for 4 more. Check in with that bottom armpit. 3. Last 2. And last one here. Get that big reach. Point the toe back. We're going to take the ball behind you. Go ahead and grab a hold of the ball with the back of the knee, using the hamstring muscle to squeeze the ball. And we're going to bend the knees into our clamshell position. So great time again to check in, readjust. We're thinking quality over quantity here. So keep going through your little checklist here, making sure everything is in its proper place. We're going to squeeze the ball with the top leg, and we're going to open the clamshell and use your inner thigh to squeeze and close. So it's easy to feel that effort on the way open as you're fighting against gravity and activating your external rotators. But we want to create just as much energy and effort on the way back in. So imagine there's another fit ball between your inner thighs. You're squeezing it closed as you bring the legs together. Inhaling to open and exhaling to close that clamshell. Watch for your top hip wanting to open up too far. We're just isolating, again, that top leg so the hips stay stacked, and you'll find a point where you get a little bit stuck, where you can truly go no further. That's going to be your top range. Last one here. Let's lift and open, and we're going to hold that clamshell. From here, we're going to pulse open. So find your new end range. Create that little tiny pulse open. This is 3 and 4. Let's go for 4 more. 3, 2, hold it open on 1. Make sure, again, your hips are stacked. We're going to keep the knee high and come to internal rotation. So the heel is going to come up towards the ceiling. Oh, and then we're going to find that clamshell shape once again. So it's really easy to start letting the shin and the foot start to kind of get the steering wheel here. We want to internally rotate from inside the hip socket. And the only reason the knee, the shin, and the foot are rotating up and down is because the thigh bone is spiraling in and it's opening out. So initiate that movement from inside the hip socket. It's that deep, that connected to get that rotation in and out. Let's come to internal rotation. See if you can lift your leg a little higher, rotate it a little deeper, and we're going to do little press backs. Little press back. So as you fatigue, your shin's gonna wanna sink down. We're gonna keep trying to lift the heel higher than the knee, so you're really truly in internal rotation. Come into just a slight tucked position here so that we're not arching from the back, but we're just isolating the outside edge of the seat here. Let's go for 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, keep squeezing your fitball. 2, last one, bring it in and rest. From here, we're gonna take a little mermaid stretch. So keep squeezing your ball. I'm gonna move mine up a little higher. It slid just a little bit. Let's rotate the bottom forearm to the top of the mat. We're gonna stretch overhead into that mermaid stretch and exhale, hand or arm to hip, and reach up and over. Push the floor away with your bottom forearm and reach. This time, we're gonna find your mermaid stretch. And then carefully with control, we're gonna come up into a seated position. So you're gonna push away from the mat, find your counter stretch, grab your fitball, spin yourself around, and we're gonna hit the other side. So back edge of the mat, legs slightly in front of you. You're gonna prop up on your forearm or rest down on your bottom arm here. Come to external rotation. Let's reach our fitball up to the ceiling. And let's find our top range. So it might feel a little different on this side. So find where your top range is and then let your fitball meet that top range to start. And then we're gonna try to increase that as we move along. All right, so from here, we're gonna flex the heel on the way down and point and lift. Try to touch that fitball. Ooh, now pull it back. Flex down and point and reach. Good, this is 3. Exhale, point. Check in with your bottom armpit. Make sure you're not sinking into that shoulder. You're pressing away from the mat. This is 6. Point, lift. Last 2. We point, lift. The last one. Make this your biggest reach. Maybe pull that ball back a little further. Reach for it. Oh, there we go. Let's reach that ball in front of you. Leg comes to hip height. We're gonna flex forward for 2 counts, trying to touch the ball with your toes. 1, 2, point and reach it back. Good. Flex, flex, and reach. So we're breathing for this. If you wanna try, is an inhale for 2 sniffs. Exhale, reach. Inhale, 2 sniffs. Let's go for a 4. Now, as your toes are reaching for the ball, feel your tailbone pull towards the wall behind you so that we're not rotating the hips forward. You're feeling kind of this equal and opposite stretch through the backside here. So I'm pulling my tail towards the back wall there. And reach it back, hold it there, sweep that ball behind you. Grab a hold of the ball with the back of the knee, slide your knees forward. Again, another time to check in, make sure you're pushing away with the bottom part of your waist. You can also do your clamshells lying down on your arm as well. So hips are stacked. We're gonna open our clamshell and close the clamshell. Imagine you're doing a clamshell in both directions, so your bottom leg is pushing down into the mat even though it's not going anywhere as the top leg comes open. Let's inhale to open, hips stay stacked, and exhale to close. This is 4. And exhale. Last 4 to go. Feet are staying glued together. And 3. Now, if at any point you're up on your forearm and you're not ready to lose this position, but your neck starts to get tired from just holding yourself up, you can always bring your gaze down to your bottom arm, and that can help a lot to take that strain out of the neck. So hold your clamshell open. Make sure the hips are stacked. We're gonna pulse it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it open on 1. Keep the knee where it is as best you can. We're gonna internally rotate so the heel comes up to the ceiling and back to that clamshell shape. Remember, this is happening inside the hip socket. So try to lead from the thigh bone, lead from the hip and not the lower part of the leg. It's almost kind of along for the ride. It's mirroring what's happening in the thigh bone. 4 to go. Nice and controlled here. Again, thinking quality over quantity or size or speed. This is 3. Last 2. And open and hold on 1. Let's lift that knee a little higher, rotate, little press backs. So we're pressing from the outside edge of the seat, not the back. So make sure you're not arching. You can even come into almost an over-exaggerated tucked position just to remind you. For 8, 7, ooh, my knee's sinking, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, last 1, fold it in. I'm gonna give my ball a little better squeeze. Rotate your top arm so your fingertips are facing away from you. Find that mermaid stretch. Pushing your rib cage up to the ceiling on the inhale, and exhale, hand to hip. And do that again, reach up and over. And exhale. Last 2 times, reach. And exhale. Let's reach and hold. We're gonna prep to come all the way up to seated. On your exhale, lift from your obliques. Try to stay light on that forearm. Find your counter stretch. And close.